Hey everyone, here we are for Surrender to Love day number 78 of our 90-day joy-based spirituality workout series. Hey Linda from Alabama. Woo woo. I was going to say Roll Tide, then I was like, well, we're not a political organization or a sports organization. Anyway, y'all have affected me. I wanted to bridge yesterday's conversation today with the ship, right? We had the ship yesterday with spiritual connection, healing trauma, peak performance. I wanted to bridge that with the idea of self-appreciation. And the reason for that is because I've bumped into a few conversations lately where I have literally told somebody that the governor in their mind was a gaslighting bitch. And what that means is that it could look like when I say to the person, hey, Ellen from Atlanta, we got Atlanta and Alabama in the house. It could mean that when I look at someone and give them a compliment and they brush me off and go, oh, no, no, no. And I'm like, who's in charge in there? Or they get heart palpitations and go into emotional flashback. I thought it could be kind of fun. I'm gonna reduce the exposure here to make the visual a little bit clearer for you. Hang on just a second. I thought it could be fun to take a look at the trifecta from the perspective of self-appreciation. And I don't know what's going to come out of this, but I will tell you one thing. If you have not watched Auntie Mame ever in your life, you have to make sure that you do. I just found it at Prime for $7.99 to buy it, so I did. And the reason for that is because Auntie Mame is starting to become a little bit of an alter ego character for really embodying true joy. Like if I could have everybody at Joy Based Living be a particular alter ego, and I've never thought that thought before because I don't usually impose my will on other people's alter egos unless I'm coaching them and offering them ideas, but not my will on them. If I had to impose my will on everyone at Joy Based Living and wave a magic wand at all of you, your alter egos would all be Auntie Mame. And so, and if you don't know why I'm saying that, well, watch the flippin' movie. I found it this time. I found it at Amazon Prime, so it was like $7.99 to purchase it, which I thought was pretty cool because it was like $20 a couple weeks ago. I was like, man, I'm not gonna buy that for $20. So anyway, here we have our JBL Trifecta ship, our sailing ship. And let's look at each of these areas from the perspective of self-appreciation. So if we look at any of these three areas, healing, trauma, spiritual connection, or peak performance, if we look at any of these areas, we can look at them from multiple perspectives. We can say, okay, they can be positive, negative, or neutral. And so let's take a look at spiritual connection, because I think we can make some kind of obvious connections there. So I'm resting my arm here. So with spiritual connection, let's say a negative experience as far as self-appreciation would be, I suck. The universe thinks I suck. Okay, so we're going to say the universe. We're not going to say God. We're going to say the universe thinks I suck. Neutral would be the universe really doesn't care whether I exist or not. And positive would be, oh my God, you are the most adorable, cutest, sweetest, loving, most awesomest thing in the whole universe. The universe thinks I suck, right? She's laughing. Thank you, Ellen. Exactly. And so from the universe thinks I suck to the universe doesn't care to the universe thinks I'm the biggest bombshell, awesome, coolest thing that ever existed. That is a choice. What I want you to realize is that it's just a storyline no matter which way you look at it. And Auntie Mame is a character. You're the cutest, most precious thing that ever existed. I'm getting all shy. I'm like, Thank you. Okay. I think so. Thank you, honey. And it's so cute receiving that from you right now because I'm just processing like on an embodied level as I'm receiving it. And I'm like, you know, accepting that sweet comment, you are the cutest, most precious thing that ever existed. I realize that number one, it feels good in my heart. And number two, I'm not taking anything away from anybody else. Like we can all feel that way. And Auntie Mame is somebody who really embodies that experience. Oh, Amy's here from Austin. We got all the A's in the room today. We've got Alabama, Atlanta, and Austin. So we're talking about using the joy-based living trifecta ship to talk about self-appreciation. So looking at spiritual connection from negative, neutral, and positive. It's a storyline, it's a choice. And at joy-based living, the whole point of being a joy-based living is being someone who chooses to lean in the direction of joy because you care about how you feel and being surrounded by other people who are doing the same. Very simple. So then let's look at, let's see, I'll take the second most obvious one, I think, which is peak performance. Peak performance, you're so when we're dealing with we've got when healing trauma, you're dealing with self. With peak performance, you're dealing with others. Who are you performing for? Who are you making all the things in your garden for? All for you? No, you're making it for other people. Who are you going to the Olympics and being an ice skating professional for? Just for you? Well, the joy of it, yeah. But why would you be going to the Olympics for other people? To bring joy and bring a thrill to others. So peak performance, and then spiritual connection. So we have life, self, and others. Life, self, and others. So to just keep it simple that way. So with peak performance, you can have the storyline, other people think I suck. So from negative, neutral to positive. Other people think I suck. Other people don't really care whether I exist or not, which could be worse than other people think I suck. Actually, that could be harsher reality of a storyline. And other people think I'm awesome. Now, the thing about it is I was having a conversation with one of our people today, and let's say you have 5 people in your life who think you're awesome and 5 people in your life who think you suck. You don't have to be a mathematician or an engineer and balance out their stories. You can take the ones you like and fuck the rest. Sorry, not sorry. Do you understand? Like, you don't have to use your brilliant brain to balance out everybody's opinions. In fact, you can't. There's too many facts in the whole world. There's too many mysteries in the whole world. And this is a game of life of choose your own storyline. So why not choose the best ones? Why not choose the ones that you're just like, oh, those people think I'm awesome. And they're not just blowing smoke my way. And they're honest with me. And they're authentic. And they're kind. So who cares what the rest say? And I think about Oprah and Brene Brown and people like that who've really spent a lot of years in conversation about how to, they call it vetting, right? How to look at all the different comments that people are writing and how much of it is just crap and how much of it is worthwhile. And they actually hire people to vet the comments so that they can kind of suss out what the real audience members are wanting to say. Because what happens is that the true voice gets lost in the mix when you don't know what's what. And it's one thing for that to happen like out on YouTube or out in the world, but it's another thing for that to happen in your mind. And if you have a governor of your mind who is gaslighting you or who's just nasty and horrible, you got to fire them and bring the real king and queen back, or get yourself back to the real castle because you're the real prince or princess. You belong someplace where people love you just for who you are. And so that's on a people level. Okay, got that? So we have negative, neutral, and positive on the people level for peak performance. People can make whatever choices they want about you. That's not your business. You hang out with the ones who adore you and love you and appreciate you for who you are and don't expect perfection out of you, but who cheer you on for you to be your best self. And that can be done without judgment or meanness. And then we have healing trauma. Now, healing trauma, this is the one that's most important. Drum roll, people, drum roll, dun, 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 in this conversation about self-appreciation. or appreciation of yourself, you can have negative, neutral, or positive. So negative would be, I think I suck. There's some moments I feel that way. Like, it's okay. But the idea is, if you feel that way at times, it's okay. Just don't linger there. Don't hang out there. That's swampy, yucky, and Shrek lives there. And you can live with Shrek if you want to, if that makes you happy. But you don't hang out there. Neutral is, I don't really have an opinion about myself. I have everybody else's opinions about me. Or I've never met anybody with a silent voice on the inside. There's something that's in control, and maybe it's other people's voices and negative voices, but you can guarantee that if it's negative, then it's coming from others, and it might just be very, very, very old. And that's how the negative governor gets into place. And so you got to kick that one out and say, I don't think so. And positive is, I think I'm pretty awesome. I think I'm pretty cool. I think I'm the most cutest, most precious thing that ever existed. And I don't mind hanging out with other people who agree that I'm the cutest, most precious thing that ever existed, because the whole universe thinks that I'm the cutest, most precious thing that ever existed. Now, I've had an experience recently of really receiving a lot of loving energy. And there is a sense of uncomfortableness sometimes in the actual body when it comes to receiving really positive energy when you're not used to it. And when I'm doing these videos, I'm putting out a lot of loving energy, a lot of exuberance, a lot of love going outward. It would be hard for you to know how challenging it is for me sometimes to receive love, to receive softness, to receive kindness, like kindnesses that really appreciate the depth of my being. And on an embodied level, that can feel really scary. And that can activate a lot of the negative ninjas. But what you want to be most mindful of is who is the one in charge of all that's in charge. And if it's someone who's being negative or gaslighting you, they're a big fat liar, because they're working for the ego anyway. And Auntie Mame doesn't work for the ego. She works for the spirit. And I was inspired recently by a story that Marianne Williamson was telling about how her daughter was getting married. And I've been following Marianne Williamson for many, many years. I love her messages. And I think she's very authentic. And she said that when she was parenting her daughter, that like one of her role models for parenting was Auntie Mame. And so I really want to encourage you to soak up some of that energy and let it fill you. And don't feel like you ever have to be reasonable, because the truth of the matter is, love is not reasonable. Jonathan is not reasonable. This Joy Based Living Village is not reasonable. And the love in your being is not reasonable. So be unreasonably loving and kind and tender for yourself. Receive it from other people and receive it from the universe. I love you so much. Thank you for being in this journey with me, sailing this ship with me of joy-based living and surrendering to love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.